Alright, Lord Ryujin is back again, covering more Xbox One details. So, over the past few weeks, I've been, detailing what I've thought about the reveal, what I wanted from the controller, and stuff like that. But, now that all the information is starting to come out, I wanted to end this month of the next Xbox coverage by discussing what we know as of right now, some concerns that I have about things that we don't know for sure how they're going to work out, as well as other various things of that nature. Now, I want to post this disclaimer, as I'm sure everybody knows, that this information is only what we know right now. So as of the recording of this video, these are things that we currently either know, don't know, can only speculate on, things like that. And hopefully this information will come out over time. But let's go ahead and get started with what we already know about the Xbox One. Obviously, one of the first things that we already know is that it's not backwards compatible, which is not that big of a deal to me because I am a collector, first and foremost, so I'm going to keep the 360 just like I kept the original Xbox. But the problem that I have with it is that they have said that your profile comes over, my gamer tag comes over, my avatar comes over, and more importantly, my achievements come over. And this is what upsets me about it, because without having backwards compatibility, I can't play the 360 games. And the biggest problem that I have with this is something that they haven't really confirmed yet. But you know that at some point they're going to drop the 360 support. I mean, it's going to happen. They dropped the original Xbox support after a while when the 360 came out. So they're going to do the same thing. They're going to have the 360 and the Xbox One parallel each other with games and services and stuff of that manner. Then slowly the 360 is going to start dwindling off online until eventually there is no more support for it. And this is when the problem comes in that I wrote in a recent article that I wrote actually. And that when that support ends, all online achievements are useless. Which leads us really into the next topic of going off of no used games. By not having any used games, this limits me because I'm the kind of person that I don't always have, 50, 60, 70, hopefully it won't go any higher than 60, but we don't really know this console generation how much the games will cost. So let's just assume that they're $60. I don't always have $60 to go off and buy the latest, greatest game when it comes out. Sometimes I wait a year or two for the price to go down. Now, that ruins the whole infrastructure for me, and it goes back to what I was talking about initially because of a couple of things. I typically get into the previous generation once it's over. The example, I bought a PlayStation Portable, and I started playing PSP games when the Vita was announced, because I knew that the backwards compatibility was not going to be there. They had a whole new, they went from the disc to the cartridge pretty much. So I knew that the PlayStation Portable games were going to become cheaper, and so I know that the 360 games are going to become cheaper because of the Xbox One not having backwards compatibility. But this creates the problem, at least from my standpoint, because you can always just say, well, you can keep playing the 360 games on the 360, and while that is true, when Microsoft drops the support for the 360 online, once I've gotten into a series that has online capabilities, I've lost my 100%. I can't get all the achievements. I can't play online anymore, and so therefore, when anybody who becomes friends with me on Xbox One, they see those little gray marks not filled in, and it really botches my gamer score. And to an extent, do I really care? Yes and no. No, I don't, because I do know that they're just digital nothing. It's like the trophies for the PlayStation Network. They're nothing. They're not real. But at the same time, I like to get 100% with my games. So when I sit down and I play a game on PlayStation 3, for an example, I go by what the trophies say. And once I get all those trophies and it says 100%, I'm done with the game. Same thing with my 360. And it's going to be the same way with the One. And by not allowing the backwards compatibility to carry over, and by not allowing us to continue to use those 360 games online on Xbox Live, on the Xbox One, it really is going to hinder my 100% playthroughs. And really it's just going to limit me to, I'm just going to play the story and be done with it. Now I'm still going to probably try to go for a few achievements, get as many as I can offline. That's just me. Make sure that you leave your comments about what you think about it, but I really do think that it's a valid point. Especially because I'm the kind of person that I can't afford new games. So that's the reason why I use used games. And oftentimes I have to go off and buy 2 games for $30 and feel like I got more bang for my buck than buying a $60 game that I might be able to knock through the achievements relatively quick and be done with it. So there's that. The next thing that we should talk about that Microsoft's kind of dancing around, but I think they've sort of confirmed this, is the always online feature. Now, I am dead in the middle with this because yes, I have an internet connection, and yes, I don't mind being online, especially if it's just going to shoot out a little ping to make sure, that's connecting to Xbox Live and go, okay, you're good. But I also don't have the most reliable connection in the world. And sometimes using multiple devices is a real pain. If I'm trying to be on the computer as well as trying to, say, watch Netflix or something, it really challenges our internet connection to the point to where it's having to pull 2 different directions and be like, okay, I'm going to do a little bit here and a little bit here. So then I want to go offline and say, okay, I'm not messing with this, I'm going to stay offline. So if I have to always be online, that might cause an issue with my connection. So I can see why people are slightly upset with it. Plus I also know certain areas don't have internet connection, and those people that don't have access to the internet, they might not necessarily be interested in getting the Xbox One now, and you basically have not necessarily shot yourself in the foot, but you've lost the sales with those people. And also something that concerns me about the Always Online feature is the fact that you have essentially made it a box at this point. Because with the next generation that's going to come out after that, the next Xbox, after the One, when you drop support for that and it can't connect online anymore, especially if you have it to where it can't do offline games without authenticating through Xbox Live or however you're going to do it, you're not going to be able to play games online. You're not going to be able to play games offline. You're not going to be able to do anything with it. Will it even be able to turn on? Because you might say turn on, and it's going to be like, well, there's no internet connection, so no. That's a big problem. So it really depends upon what Microsoft wants to do with this. And hopefully all of these issues that we talk about in this video will be cleared up at E3, because there needs to be some clarification. There really does. We need to, get the clarification from Microsoft as far as, is there a used fee for used games, like I heard that there was? Or is it like they're kind of backpedaling now and saying, no, there is no fee for used games? So which is it? How is this going to work? Is it going to have it to where I can buy a used game and play it or not? These are the kind of things that need to be brought up. It's already been talked about to death that the name is silly, especially calling it the One, because when you call it the One, people are going to think it's a prequel. They're going to think it's going back. Because when I say Xbox One, I think of the very first Xbox, the original Xbox. So there's that. But the thing is, what were you thinking calling it the One? Yes, you say it's the One because it's supposed to be an all-in-one entertainment center, but here's the thing, nobody does that. Nobody. You showed off TV at your big reveal, and the biggest issue that I have with that is nobody really watches TV anymore. People either have digital converters to watch their TV, Or, if they're smart, they use some kind of an internet form anyway, since they're going to be on the internet. They go to, Netflix, Hulu Plus, Amazon, they might even go to the actual website itself. They might use their smartphone, their tablet, whatever. There's all kinds of means of watching. They can even YouTube some of these shows. So there really is all kinds of ways to watch the shows that you do like to watch, if you even like to watch TV shows. So making it a cable box is useless, at least to me. And making it to where it's focusing more on the TV aspect is useless, especially when TV is like home phone service. It is dying a very slow and painful death. It's not quite out the door yet because there are still some people who do like to watch TV. I like to watch TV, but I like to watch it digitally on something like Hulu Plus at my pace. I don't like to sit there in front of a television at 9 o'clock on a Wednesday because a certain channel told me I needed to. Now, the next couple of issues are not really that big of a deal, but they involve Connect, and I know that Connect is required for it. So here's the questions that I have for it. 1. What do you mean it's required? Will it not cut on at all? Because right now we use Connect, and while there's no problem using Connect, I like using Connect, especially when, I'm just about to get up and go to the restroom, for an example. I can just say Xbox pause instead of trying to find the controller. It really does make it easy, but at the same time, sometimes it hears what the TV says and interprets it as I said rewind or stop or go home or something, and I never said any such thing. Sometimes it hears a dog bark and it thinks I said something to it. So there's sometimes where it is really sensitive in what it hears. So, and granted, great job trying to improve Connect and everything like that, but at the same time, what do you mean required? Because sometimes I just unplug Connect until I'm actually going to use it. Sit down and use it for navigation, use it to play a game, whatever, until I'm actually going to use it. What do you mean required? And if it's always online, are you checking up on me? Because that's not cool. That's not cool. Sometimes I go around the house without a shirt. I don't want you to see that. I don't want to think about you thinking about me seeing that. Oh goodness. But that again is just my rant. The second thing, if it's going to be required, it kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. How far is the integration going? Are you going to have this to where, it's recognizing my face to make sure that, yes, you are Lord Ryujin, and you are logging in, and you are the only person who can use this account, and hey, I see 2 other people in the room with you, and they don't have profiles, they don't have Xbox Live, they can't watch this with you, This is the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. How far does this go? If I have my brother-in-law over, and we sit down and he's watching me play a game, is Connect going to stop me because he's in the room and he go, wait, this is a one-player game, buddy, what are you doing? How far is this going to go? That's kind of the main concern that I have as far as Connect goes. Love using Connect otherwise, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the kind of integration that it does. But is it going to be like the PlayStation 4i is, where it's going to be like it recognizes me, and if I move around the room for multiplayer, it moves the screen around based upon where I'm at? Or it's going to, change the actions that happen based upon how many people it sees in the room and things like that? Is that what it's going to do? Or is it really just going to be more or less like what we have with Connect? And now I guess the last thing is bring E3 on, because E3 is really going to be the deciding factor. You have lost quite a few fans, quite a few people who might have been interested in the one and stuff like that, because I don't feel as though you've marketed it to a gamer. I being a gamer, I being the kind of person that puts you down at the bottom of the big 3, You had the potential to blow me out of the water with the one, and you had me for a while until you started talking about innovative controller, which isn't innovative. It's the exact same thing as the 360 controller. You just moved the guide button to a little touch thing at the top. So I guess bravo. You added share and options, which is the exact same thing that the PlayStation 4 is doing. So that's not innovative at all. You didn't even add in a touchpad like Nintendo did. So you're not being innovative. And you use the exact same smart glass app as you did for the 360. Now, I know that you see the bigger picture. You know that it's not going to be about gaming for much longer. That it's going to be about the apps. But the thing is that the core gamers, people like me that are more likely going to go off and buy your system within the first few months, if not the very first day that it comes out, we want games for it. Because honestly, I can get internet on anything. My smartphone, my 3DS, my computer, anything. Same thing with Netflix. Just about everything has Netflix. But you know what my computer doesn't have? Do you know what my 3DS doesn't have? Do you know what these other consoles that I have don't have? The Xbox exclusives. You know, where is Fable? Where are the games that are going to make me say I gotta buy this thing? Like when Fable 2 came out with the 360, I said I want to buy it. I loved Fable on my Xbox. Now I want to play Fable 2 on my Xbox 360. That's what I want from the One. I want to look at a game and go, I gotta buy the One now. I want to play this. You know? So the reason why I like Nintendo is because I know the franchises I'm going to get. I know the games that I'm going to get. You have to present to me the games that I'm going to get from the One, the games that are going to make me want to go off and rush and spend the money to buy this thing when it comes out. Which brings up another issue that I thought of. The games. You're having them install to the hard drive, and then you have the gall to only give us 500 gigabytes of internal memory. When I first heard 500 gigabytes, I thought, man, that is a very generous amount. I mean, I'm only getting like 250 some odd gigabytes out of my PS3. You know, that's double. But then, wait, everything has to install to the hard drive, including the games, any patches and DLCs. And if most games being anywhere, I assume with this console generation, that the games are probably going to be anywhere between 8 gigabytes and 10 gigabytes, roughly. And that's before you even get the game saves in there. That's going to eat up a lot, in case you can't do that math. You know, that's going to eat up a lot. Especially when you think of like, oh, there's also Netflix, there's Last.fm, there's Hulu Plus, there's Internet Explorer, there's all these other apps that are going to eat through it like it's nothing. You know? Oh, goodness. And then I guess my next question is, how is it going to work? Because if the disk becomes useless after that, because it downloads it to the hard drive so we can access it digitally, which granted I'm happy about because that's less moving parts, you know, so your disk drive is more likely not going to mess up, and you're more likely going to, you know, not end up with any kind of a red ring of death or anything like that. So while I appreciate that, at the second time, how does secondhand stuff work? I mean, if you are going to have some kind of a used game market, how's it going to work? Are you going to have it to where I can just hand the game over and they install it digitally and they go, hey, you know, Lord Ryujin owned it last. Do you have the access code? You put it in. Okay, so you own it now, and that's it? Like, how's that going to work? I guess that's the big question on my mind. But there's so many questions that need to be answered, as well as asked. But there's a lot of questions that need to be answered as far as the One goes, as well as the PS4. But we'll get into that more around the E3 coverage. But what I want to see from you, Microsoft, is what are these 15 exclusives that you're talking about? Because it seems to me that at the reveal of a major console, when you know that all your Xbox fans are going to watch, you should show them games. You know, instead of talking about TV and apps. That's just me. So you say that you're going to bring the games at E3. That's cool. I know that you split up your conference into two, one showing off the system, one showing off the games. That's fine. But what are you talking about games? Because if they're going to be sports games, that's not going to be a system seller. I'm sorry, but FIFA and Madden and all them, they're going to come over to the PS4 as well, and probably the PS3. They're not going to just be on the One. What is only going to be on the One? What is it? That's what I'm looking forward to. But I think that's my rant for now, and I think that I've covered everything. Make sure that you sound off in the comments or in a video response about these exact same topics. What do you think about this? Or just pick one and talk about it. Because in a way, I think that Microsoft has lost their way. That they have finally, everybody's starting to finally see Microsoft for what I saw them for when they released the Xbox. As a bunch of money-hungry, greedy suckers that don't care about games. And I let it go for the 360 because they did release games and stuff like that. And I'm still going to support Microsoft because they still do make games. And they still do have that backing. But at the same time, you're not on the same ground as the PlayStation 4 or even on the Wii U. I'm sorry if that offends somebody. But when Nintendo offers me the games that I know that I like to play, boom. And when Sony is going to give me Uncharted and God of War and the games that I know that I'm going to like to play, boom, they're there too. What are you going to give me? Halo? Sorry, don't like Halo. Gears of War? Again, don't like Gears of War. Another Mass Effect? Okay, well Mass Effect is also coming over to the PS3 and probably going to continue on the PS4, but you ended it in a trilogy. You ended it, so more likely not. So what are you going to give me? And that's the question. But that's all that I have for now, guys. All of this, of course, is just speculation and, of course, just one gamer's opinion. Hopefully E3 will give us a lot more clarification as to what we can expect out of the One, as well as out of the PlayStation 4 and out of the Wii U. Make sure that you join me for the E3 coverage and keep watching. Make sure that you like, subscribe, as always, if you like what you've seen. I've already stated the comment. I'm going around in circles about that, and I'm sorry. I'm just trying to make sure that there's nothing else in my head that I'm forgetting, but I can't think of anything else. If nothing else comes up, I'll just do another video, I guess. But until next time, I'll see you guys.